and welcome back, you Smegmites. We are here for round number 2 of the WFO Hare Scramble series. This time it is Chandlerville, Illinois. New place for me, I've never been here, but I've heard good things, so looking forward to seeing what it has to offer. We are signed up in Open Sea as usual, and we've got 30 other riders in our class, so another big one. But it really doesn't matter how many people are in your class if you're out front, so let's try to avoid some of that mess. We get a great jump with the trusty old kick lever on the 300. E-start might be broke, doesn't matter. We got her pinned through this whole valley and nobody's catching us. What's even better is somebody grabbed us some third-person footage, so we get to enjoy that sweet, sweet hole shot not once, but 2 times. We hop back on board and I am flying, just letting that big dog eat. We come into the crowd and Race Pictures here is going to snag some photographic evidence for me that I'm 2 for 2 on dead engine starts this year. It then quickly becomes apparent to me that I have no idea where the hell I'm going. Alright, now hear me out, guys. I camped out the night before in my van and it was cold the morning of this race. So I didn't get out until it was race time, didn't walk the track, didn't watch the race before me. So yeah, I'm a little lost and it's kind of crazy that nobody's caught up to me while I'm trying to figure it out. But hey, I'm not complaining. So as we work our way to the entrance of the woods, I'm just trying to kind of back it down a little bit, settle my emotions and not do anything too crazy. A mistake at the very beginning of a race has much higher consequences, especially when you got 30 other people waiting to make a pass on you. We're going to try to stop thinking about that and just focus on this trail because, man, would you just look at it?
Oh, would you look at this?
Yeah, well.
Would you look at that?
We got this beautiful mix of dirt and sand with a little moisture in it. Ooh-wee. But as you see, with that moisture comes a few spots that have just a little bit too much. So as a result, you'll notice a few mud holes and even a few bigger mud bogs throughout the race, but definitely a trade-off I'm willing to make to have dirt this good. We start to run into our first little bit of traffic as this guy moves out of the way for us, coming into this nice shallow little creek crossing. And that's something that we really emphasized in the last Hare Scramble video, just kind of getting through traffic efficiently and not getting held up. So let's see how I do this time. The first race, I got out, I was in the lead, navigated traffic pretty well, and then eventually gave up first place when I hit a wall around lap 2. So let's see, maybe today's the day that I get my first win. Okay, now maybe I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself because there's a lot of race left, but can we just take one more second to appreciate this dirt? Whew. Sorry, I'll try to get control of myself, but just look at this nice flowy trail. As you're watching that, you might notice that, same as last Hare Scramble, I'm running no handguards on this bike. I want to reiterate that I would not recommend doing that for a Hare Scramble, but at the same time, for any of you motocross folks watching that have maybe considered doing one of these, it is possible. You just got to be a little bit more mindful about the positions you put yourself in. Now me, I'm not mindful at all, so I'm sure at some point we'll see me smack my hand off something. So we make a couple passes coming back into the woods and we're really starting to get into the thick of the traffic from the rows that left before us. And it's time to get to it and start making some quick, efficient passes so I don't get caught from behind. We come into this, I don't know if you could really call it a bottleneck, more of a slowdown, and I'm able to make, one pass, but start to realize I'm probably gonna have to get a little bit more aggressive because I'm still being held up quite a bit. In other words, we're about to get vocal.
Let's go!
We made it through the first little cluster, but I'm sure you could see how easy it would be to get caught up in something like that. You got people crashing in front of you, you get 10 to 12 squids like me all in close proximity. It's like a ticking time bomb, and we don't want to be anywhere near it when it goes off, so we're just trying to tiptoe our way through and get the hell out of there. Coming up to the top of this hill, these guys in front of me come to pretty much a complete stop, and I'm able to pick one off. And then I may or may not get a little bit off trail trying to make a pass on the rest of them. This Frankfurt kid, I think, heard me yell and looks back to let me by, and he's like, where the hell is this guy? Yeah, sorry, I was apparently just off blazing trails. Don't mind me. Coming up behind these two, we're about to do some yelling, but first we need to stop and appreciate my guy Tony Bird, who's out here cheering us on. At least I think it's Tony, because it kind of looks like it could be somebody's gangster-ass grandma. Well, I hope that was you, Tony, because if not, I'm making fun of just some random-ass person who is probably cheering for somebody else. But like I said before, I don't care who you're cheering for. If I hear it, those are my cheers now. Because it feels damn good to hear, and I'm gonna eat it up every single time. Hell, might even have me leaving there thinking Wingnut is a man of the people. Coming out into the open here, you can get a sneak peek of the deep sand that is their motocross track. I believe they hold some practices and races out here every now and again. But for our purposes today, it looks like we got some ribbon down, which causes a little confusion for me. But luckily, there's a giant herd of people all going one direction that I can follow, so. And then like I mentioned earlier, we get to hit a big mud bog before the checkpoint where I'm able to make 3 passes by not tiptoeing around it and just putting the hammer down straight through the middle. We roll up to the checkpoint still being in first place, and then when we leave there, it's going to spit us back out into the area where we did our start sequence, and that's going to tie in for a full lap. This corner might look familiar from where we got the pictures earlier, but guess what? Round 2, baby. This time it's squash photography with the shots. Then this picture makes it look like I have an outie belly button. I don't have an outie belly button. I'm not sure why I'm so offended by that, but I am. As we come into this creek crossing again, you'll notice on the other side there's already a pretty deep rut starting to get dug out, and we're only on lap 2 of what would eventually be 10 to finish the race, so I'm sure you could guess how that's going to look as the day goes on. Then we get into our first encounter with a tree where I'm like, damn, I kind of wish I had those hand guards. On the bright side, I didn't take too much damage, and even better than that, you can tell that things are really starting to separate and spread out, so we're getting to a point where we shouldn't really have to be dealing with too many large clusters, and we can really start to hunt down and pick off these passes one by one, and depending where we come up to them on the trail, we should be able to get past rather quickly without too much risk of getting tangled up. And then do y'all see that little tiny tree with the purple flag hanging off of it? Because I sure as hell didn't, and the sounds that follow are me blasting my hand off the damn thing. And then just like last race, here in the second lap, I start slowing down and hitting that wall where it's hard to hold on to my bike. I hear somebody behind me, I'm like, gotta let him go by. Well, turns out he was in my class. Just like last time, I didn't really have the energy to charge and go try to get that position back. I end up stuck behind this guy for a little bit, make a bad line choice, and get past again. The wheels are falling off, things are not going good for us here in the second lap, but just like that, he gives it back to us going down in the deep sand. And then you guys are going to get to see where the thumbnail picture for this video came from. I thought that was pretty cool. This time it's courtesy of Race Pictures. We make a pass coming back into the motocross track where I'm once again going to have some navigational issues. And then this time I'm actually going to make the problem even worse by taking some ribbon with me when I leave.
Fuck me!
We get back to my hillbilly roots here because like the first 2 years I owned a dirt bike, all I did was hit mud holes, and it looks like Nick is either a fan or really scared because I'm coming in his general direction. Then we roll into the checkpoint to mark off lap 2 and snitch on ourselves for destroying their ribbon.
I'd like to report some ribbon being down. It was me.
Back at the creek crossing to check on how that's developing.
Probably not. Go through.
Nice little open spot here to clean the bike out and make a pass. Seems like every time we came up to this spot, somebody was having issues. We come up behind Sleepy here, who's got his own YouTube channel. I can throw a link to that in the description. He actually puts out his videos like the next day after the race instead of like a year later. Weird concept, right? We got one more pass to make on the motocross track, and then we're gonna end up getting tangled with this guy who was being real indecisive entering the mud hole. We end up eating a face full of roost, but hey, at least we came away with some souvenirs for it. We let our frustration get the best of us and do a little bit too much coming into this checkpoint.
God fucking damn it.
About a half lap later, we finally get the GoPro wiped, but unfortunately, the rest of the race it's smudged like this, which that's okay. I think by this point, you guys get the idea. And I'm trying out this new thing where I don't make the videos 2 hours long if they don't need to be. So the rest of this race is really just me picking off lappers one by one. I think I did end up lapping some people that were in my own class, which was a first for me, but we don't end up getting passed or really doing any battling with anybody else from our class. So about 6 laps later from what you're seeing now, we wrap up the race in second place out of 31 riders. I'll take it. Would like to have that top spot on the podium, but today wasn't the day. Hey, I appreciate y'all watching. If you want to support your local YouTuber, drop a like on the video, leave any questions you might have down in the comments, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.